Hello, hello, Chalet in the house. Welcome, Susday, Chimipsua. Great to have you here. I'm so excited and just to be here with you today. Howdy, hey. Oh, so I didn't get any comments before the show about like a particular topic, so we can just start with a slideshow and see. I did some customization. Thank you for the pretty peacock. Yes, exactly. Made a little logo so I don't have the StreamYard duck anymore. I have my own logo. I just made it in Canva, really simple and fast. So at least I don't have to have StreamYard up there anymore. Have something personalized. So oh, before we get started with that, I was looking for my toenail clipper. Well, fingernail clippers, toenail clippers, whatever, clippers, and I haven't been able to find them. I had like three or four pairs, or not pairs, but whatever, around, and now I can't find a single one of them. But anyway, I came across this since we love talking Gen X. Kissing potion, cherry, and it's still good. You know how many times I have moved and this has come with me and I still have it? Moving halfway around the world and still have it. A blast from the past. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So, anyway, we'll get started and hopefully Unstable Mabel will join in. Andy, I hope you're around. We're going to be looking at pictures, so it's going to be hard if you're just listening on audio. My mom said she's going to try and join in. Um, you had the Bonnie Bells. Yes, yes. It was the best. All of it was the best. And chocolate mint. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we had fun. We had so much fun growing up in the 70s. So let's see what happens. I think I'm just going to have to share the screen because they're just photos on. Share the audio, share the screen. Because it's not really in a window. It's not in a. What's a window? I'm just looking at like if no, my the photos don't come up as it, so I'll have to do share entire screen. Share. Okay. Okay, yeah, and I'm still there on the side. Okay. Oh, let's see. Bubblegum. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We did have a great time growing up in the 70s. So happy they found the 9-year-old girl. Yes, the one in upstate New York. Your granddaughter is 9. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that must have really touched you. So yeah, right before the 48-hour cutoff, they were able to find her, and so yeah, news is trickling out. I mean, it's daytime now for you, so you will probably, while I'm sleeping, there'll probably be some more press conferences and stuff with some more information coming out about exactly what happened. Um, but for now, we don't know a lot other than they did rescue her and they did arrest the man. Their name, he's 47 years old or something. Praise Jesus, absolutely. You know, just amazing is good. So all right, we'll get rid of our psychedelicness here, and so if I'm like that, can you see, do you see the picture? Tell me if you see the picture. Because if I go away, if I click on the StreamYard to see the picture, yeah, you see it. Okay, 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 good. I was going to say then, never mind, technical stuff. So that is the Twin Towers in Malaysia. Malaysia was my first stop on my first trip to Europe. So I flew from Phnom Penh to Kuala Lumpur, and they make it where there are no connecting flights until the next day. They plan it that so you have to stay a day in Malaysia, and so I did. I stayed a day in Malaysia, and so there's my picture of the Twin Towers. Well, that they call them, but it's the Petronas Towers. Yeah, it's cool. And so next, let's see. Okay, go like that. I believe this is in London. It's just a canal going through London. Obviously, you can see people can take a walk. I'm standing on the bridge over the canal near where I was staying. Camden. Okay, I think the friend I was staying with was in or near Camden. You can see the sign for the underground there. Hopefully you can see my mouse. This guy was funny. So I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" And he's like, "Sure." And I asked him, "Oh, can you take my picture?" And so his hand is not touching me. His hand is like out in front, but that's why I'm laughing, such a big smile there. Because I knew what he was, what the picture would look like as if it's, so good for him. But what a mohawk! That's like amazing. And, oh, okay. I remember. I mean, seeing this view of this. It's a pub called the Camden Eye, and this is near where my friend was living, and we had a dinner there. So, see, my mom always tells me, like when people say, "Oh, well, if you're ever in the area, look us up and you can stay with us and stuff." And she's like, "They're just being polite. You're not supposed to take people up on their offers." I'm not like that. I do take them up on their offers. And so uh, there was a regular that would come to visit Cambodia, and near where I lived. I live right next door to, not right now, but I did at the time, Rory's Pub, and so a lot of British, Irish, Scottish, English, they'd all come to Rory's Pub, and so yeah, one of the people said, "Oh, you can come stay. If you ever come to London." And so I was like, "Okay, yeah, if I offer, I mean it exactly." You know, And so if you don't mean it, then don't offer it, you know. So he had a nice little guest room, and I stayed 2 nights, I think. So like when I arrived in London, um, stayed one night. The next day, maybe I stayed. Well, yeah. So I think I had a day that he was working, and so like I just like went around by myself, and then there was another day that he actually took me around to all the sites in London and show. And oh my gosh, it was like I was hurting so bad, pain, and my hips and everything were just, was in so much pain. And then the next day I went to France, and then those friends again, well, they were couch surfers that stayed on my couch, and so then I went and stayed with them in Paris. And um and so and then they took me around everywhere in Paris. And so between the 2 days I was just in so much pain. And so my my next day in Paris, I just stayed in their house, and I didn't even go out anywhere. I just rested, because after that I was going to the Cannes Film Festival, and I knew there'd be a lot more walking there. Anyway, that so let's see. Here's a picture of the underground there, or the tube in London. Yes, yes, they did love having me. No, nobody that I've ever taken up their offer has ever given any kind of like, oh my gosh, what do we get ourselves into kind of thing. This is funny about the language. I know we've done a couple of shows about, British language, and British meaning like all of the, not just English, but they're, compared to American English. And what this was one of the things that stuck out. Instead of having an exit signs, they have way out signs. And okay, yeah, this is the way out. That makes sense. But when I just see a sign that says way out, I'm thinking like, oh, far out, groovy, man, way out. I'm like, what kind of sign is that? And then I'm like, oh, wait, they mean the exit. Put that comment up. Okay, back to where's pictures. And this is one of the train stations, maybe King's Cross. I think King's Cross is the only one that I went to see, because they also have platform 9.5 from for Harry Potter. And what they have there, so I took a picture of these people taking their picture. They have a grocery cart that is like built into the wall, so that when you push it, you look like you're going into the wall, or platform 9 3/4. So like the Harry Potter books. Man, this is a church. I don't know which one is an old church. And then they're here at 2221B Baker Street. They have a little Sherlock Holmes museum, and this Bobby there for people to take pictures with. My mom made it! Yay! Mumsy in the house. Mumsy in the house. Glad you're here. We're just going over some pictures of my trip to England. And anyway, this originally was not on Baker Street. There was no 221B Baker Street. It was just made up for the Sherlock Holmes novels. But because the novels are so popular, somebody, put the number 221B on this particular house. Isn't there a song about Baker Street? Yes. Where's Andy? Andy, we need you for the song about Baker Street. I could almost, okay, we can look it up. Because we're seeing the whole Baker Street song. Barry Rafferty, Baker Street. Well, the Foo Fighters also did something. I don't know if they did a cover or what, but I'm sure this 1978 Jerry Rafferty song is the one, which we don't want to actually play. Okay. And there's a statue there on Baker Street of Sherlock Holmes. I had to get like the right angle, so there was like that tree behind, or the house or whatever wasn't like blocking his face, so it was just sky, even though there's a few clouds. That's called composition. I had to compose the photo. And here's a mailbox. Remember, I mentioned that I do take a lot of pictures of like fire hydrants and stuff. I love to get like nice and close and have the paint peeling or layers of paint and stuff. So yeah, this is a real mailbox and a real telephone booth. Got to get the iconic stuff. Now, while I do not have the sign, there was a sign that said zebra crossing before I got to this point. Your friend used to always take pictures with policemen. No, these are not the pictures from when you and I went. Um, it's a different folder. It's a folder of just my first trip to Europe. Um, but I could try to find those. I tried to like put all those kind of pictures um onto this computer, from my backup drive, um, so that I can show them. But right now we're just going through this folder of pictures. So this zebra crossing, I'm literally looking around thinking, oh, somebody in this neighborhood adopted an old circus animal and has a zebra and they take it out for a walk. And so the city put up this nice sign saying zebra crossing. And I walk down the road and I get to this and I'm like, oh, there's the double English again, zebra crossing. You remember the phone booth? Yes, yes. We took a picture of, but the picture. Oh, there you go. There's the sign: humped zebra crossing. But I hadn't gotten up to it yet, so I didn't know that it was actually a pedestrian crossing. Uh, Mom, you took a picture of me in the phone booth. And Chalet says, I remember being in a phone booth to get out of the pouring rain and lightning, but it was only in Marion, Iowa. And here comes Cassie. Hi, Cassie. All right. Oh, and then I see these signs all over the place. And I know it says to let, meaning for lease, right? We would, in America, we might say for rent or for lease. We have for instead of two. But I swear the spacing of it is just missing an I, and it's toilet. Do you see that? The space is exactly right for a letter I to be there to spell toilet. And so I just couldn't help but laugh every time I saw one of these signs. It's just a nice picture that everybody. I asked, is there any significance to the colors? Asked in Ireland too, and both times was no, just people paint whatever color door they want. And so this was just a really interesting shot that had a blue, a red, and a green door, all right there. Another church. Nice shot of the way the flag is. The wind has that flag. I don't know if this is Westminster Abbey, maybe, or maybe it's just an old Gothic church. Because I do remember there was one church that was like we walked past, and my friend said, this was like built in 1200 or something. Yeah, it is pretty. And then we went to this market, which I guess is a very famous market where everything is like sold like this, where you can scoop things out and stuff. It's like all the fresh vegetables and cheese and bread and meat and everything. So I got a couple of nice shots there. Here's cheese. Isn't that nice? Oh, he's putting some mozzarella in bags. That's so nice. And there's some more vegetables. Anybody that's been to London might recognize like the name of this particular market. You can see all the green, I don't know, it used to be a warehouse or a factory or something, and they turned it, it's like an open air market. I think I got some cat hair on me. Fromage, yes. One of the few French words I can actually say. Oh, there's fish. I think they're hanging those plastic bags of water to keep the flies away. Maybe. I hate fish, but it made a good picture. So, and bread. Lovely bread. How would you like to like go to the market every couple of days and buy your bread and your fish? Poison. Maybe. salt, big bowls of salt that you can just scoop the salt that you want. The display, every table, almost like a farmer's market, and probably was called a farmer's market. And every display was just so beautiful. You spelled that wrong. Oh, oops. Oh, you didn't mean to say poison? Oh, is that a French word? Poisson? I don't know what it means. Okay, and I always took a picture of me eating food. So this one is bangers and mash. I am having bangers and mash in London. So I didn't touch that egg, I'm sure, because that's, yeah, like an over easy egg. No, thank you. I love that, and that scarf was a friend of mine named Mandy in Los Angeles. She lived in Venice, like on the Venice canals, and but she was always there at the Cow's End, the coffee shop in Marina del Rey, um, and she knitted that herself and gave that to me as a gift. Look at me! Yay! And some of my favorite earrings I'm wearing too. But okay, and then this is the Sir Francis Drake replica. It's near the Globe Theater, and it's small. Actually, I mean, so this is like a typical ship that, back in the sailing days, that people would be, sailors and pirates and whatever. So you could see the crow's nests and this and that. And I didn't go on it. I'm sure there were probably tours available. We just walked by it, and so I took this picture. And just to think of being in the middle of the ocean and such a small, the big waves, and oh, just living the dream. And there's the famous Bullet Building, and a double decker red bus there going over the River Thames. And this is called Clink Street. And so you'll see here hanging, they used to like put people that for punishment, like instead of putting them in jail, they would hang them in a cage on the street, and maybe they would clink. And that's why and then that's where we get the expression, when someone goes to jail, they're going into the clink, or they're in the clink, because of Clink Street. Great memories. Yes. I'll see if when I finish this batch of pictures, I'll try to find the ones of you and me on our trip, Mom. Johnson's Tea Room. I don't even know that I went inside. Traditional afternoon tea. Just, with the pretty red shutters and everything. It just looked pretty. Oh, there's me in front of the Globe Theater. Of course, the original one burnt down, and so they had to rebuild it. But I think it's pretty much in the same location as where it would have been. I'm not sure about that. That's a nice picture of me. Wow. Alrighty. That's London. Okay. I'm standing on Millennial Bridge, which is a famous bridge for London, and there's one bridge. Well, I guess there's a couple of bridges, but the bridge you can see in the very background, that's the Tower Bridge, which is normally considered London Bridge. So young, I know. And this was somewhere in London. I think in the law district or the publishing district. But my son James likes dragons, and again, getting that where that like chimney that's behind its wing, you don't want that behind its face. So I had to like get myself just at the right angle so that it was the best, no obstruction behind the face or the head of the dragon. This is, I think, Covent Garden, and it's where like all the Actors Guild stuff is. And so, but of course, I love the way these got the architecture here and the painting and the colors. So that's why I took this picture. But I think there should be another picture. Oh, maybe not. Nope, that's going to France. This is like an open courtyard, and in the on the ground level, there's like tables set up like a cafe, but you get a lot of actors just doing like improv stuff or whatever. So you could look up, I believe it's Covent Garden. This is my picture on the Euro rail, right? So from London to Paris. And so this is my little, I remember that Ubuntu computer. That was a nice computer. And I'm writing my travel blog. So now I'm in Paris. There's the Arc de Triomphe or something, the Arc of Triumph. And I was surprised how big it is. It's really big. In fact, if you look at the very, very top, there are people. You can see people up there on the top. It's big. I was surprised. It's very big. And it's like in the middle of a roundabout. So it's the road all the way around it. You can just keep driving in circles around it. And there's the Louvre, which I did not go in. And the only reason I got this picture is because it's like only taxis and buses are allowed to turn left and go on this little street. And my friend couldn't get out of the lane into the lane to go straight, and the light turned green to turn, so he had to turn, and he was so worried he was going to get a ticket. And then right here there was a light and it turned red, so he had to stop, and he was just so nervous that police were going to come and give him a ticket. And so I rolled down the window and took this picture. so that is my experience at the Louvre. I did not go inside. And then, but he didn't get a ticket. And there's a picture of the Eiffel Tower. And in this picture, I don't know if you can see down here at the very bottom corner, there's like a carousel. And so there's a little road that goes up past that carousel. And somebody pulled out right as we were coming. So we pulled in. And I'm like, yes. Because remember, I was so sore after London. And so it's like, yes, we got this parking place really close. I thought, we'd look at the carousel. We'd walk over under there's a bridge. Actually, there's a river right there. And so there's like a bridge. And so I thought we would walk over the Eiffel Tower. No, we walked up these steps, like a million steps, where then people all take a picture standing like in front of it. There's probably like this. You can see that I'm here. This picture does not do justice for how high I am. Look, I'm smiling even though I'm in so much pain. But there's the carousel. I thought that was a nice carousel. Another picture. Oh, if you can't see the because this strip of pictures down here there, but you can see the river, and there might even be a boat on the river. And the Eiffel Tower. It's a little bit blurry. I was trying to take a nice picture of the architecture. Notre Dame, one of my favorite pictures, because I love doing crazy pictures. And so I told my friend, okay, I have the normal picture standing there smiling. And I said, okay, wait, you got to take one more. So I am the Hunchback of Notre Dame, obviously before the fire. And there is it while we were there, the sun went down. So That's pretty. And then the next day, I told them the only thing I want, that I'm really interested in is Rembrandt. And so they did a little bit of research and they found a couple of places. No, I'm sorry, not Rembrandt. He was Dutch. Renoir, like Pierre Auguste Renoir. That's how you felt in pain. Yeah. Had to have a smile briefly, right? And here, this is, so we come out of this metro station, and I don't know, he's pointing to I guess this is a very famous old fashioned Art Deco or Art Nouveau metro sign. So I took a picture of it, and we proceeded to go up these stairs to the top of Montmartre. Montmartre is this hill, and then I see they have this like little like trolley thing that goes up the hill, and I'm like, why didn't we take that? Oh, we thought you'd like to walk. And, I'm like, nah, I would have loved to ride in the trolley. That looks so fun. Oh, and so this is up in so what is up on one of the things on Montmartre, among other things, is an artist studio, which is where all the impressionists would hang out and paint their pictures. And so this is the garden inside that studio area where Renoir and Manet and Monet and Seurat and Degas and everybody, all the French impressionists at the turn of the century, 18th to 19th. This is where their studio was, and this is from the top of Montmartre. This vineyard is they were telling me, the only vineyard inside Paris is this little vineyard on the hill of Montmartre. I think, yeah, this was at that studio as well. But I love taking pictures of doors, of windows, of fire hydrants. But yeah, this is one of my favorite pictures. And that's just what the lighting's on. And so that's me there. You can see the same window with that bench in the background. And you would have had to pay extra to go inside that building to see the actual studios set up with easels and paints and stuff. I guess I don't know. I didn't go inside because I was being conservative with my money. And this was just, France is known for bistros, right? So I got a picture of a bistro, as in everybody sitting in little cafe tables on the street. Trolleys are for wusses. Yeah. You wait till you have bursitis and see how it feels. And so on the top of Montmartre, because it is a very artsy thing, I had all this the original artwork. Now I would have been interested to buy just some kind of small piece of art, but we never went back. So I never bought anything. This is my moment where, because the smells everywhere you walked, you smell bread, you smell meat, you smell flowers, you smell, whatever. And there was this smell, and it ended up being this pistachio flavored macaron. I think I told you guys all the story because I have this picture downstairs in a frame. So on the house tour, I told you more about this one. But yeah, that's the moment that was just so delicious. That's my favorite moment. Red door. That's not as clear as I would like it. This lady was cool. She's turning the handle on that music box thing that's doing the music, and then she's singing that La Vie La Rose song, whatever, and la da 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 da. I believe I think I saw that there's some video in here as well. And then I was I saw a movie or something, and they had her in it. Okay, here we go. Where's the sound? Why is the sound worse? I don't know why there's no sound. But you can see how she's she's turning her hand and keeping perfect time with the music while she's dancing and singing and being so expressive with her other hand. And she is not missing a beat of the tempo as she's singing and dancing around. Just absolutely incredible. Yeah. And I don't know why we don't get why the sound's not playing, but whatever. At least you can see the motion. And okay, so next. And then there was this lady. It's not very clear either. I don't know if it's just because it's not loading or if my picture really wasn't that clear. So this is just outside as you're walking from that artsy area and you're walking around to the big church, the big cathedral, the Sacre Coeur, Sacred Heart. And so she had her little deal here, playing the accordion and dressed in turn of the century clothes with a nice big umbrella with flowers all over it. And so there's the Sacre-Cœur in behind, and then you have like here's I guess they're called buskers now, people that musicians that play like street musicians, and everyone was there listening. And you turn and look the other way over Paris. This guy was climbing up and down this light pole with that ball, not only on his head, but like from his head to his knee, to his elbow, to his head, to his foot, bouncing that ball around as he's climbing up that light pole. It was absolute. But I thought it was interesting too, though, the way it makes it look like he's up high in the sky. When he's not really that high. But there's a fire hydrant or some kind of water station. I don't know if it's for hoses or for drinking or watering plants or animals or if it's for fires. I don't know. But I never saw a blue one before. And this, I just loved all the flowers, the way people, yeah, we have a little flower pot on a windowsill or something, but the way these people like really decorated, I thought was so nice. See, that's like, this is normal, right? But again, the window, the architecture. I love windows. I took a lot of pictures. There's another picture of windows where you see the pattern. These see a lot of pattern. A close up on, I don't know, this was like the ironwork on somebody's door, I think. There's another window right above blue doors. And then there was a lot of I don't know who Robert Desimard is, but 1944, the liberation of Paris. Nice bright yellow mailbox. I guess that's a mailbox. But so like veterans had these like flowers on their houses or something. I don't know. This is inside the like the Orsay Museum, Musée d'Orsay, something like that. And so there's like a big clock and there's a restaurant there. But I was like on a balcony above the restaurant, like directly across from this clock. Oh, and so this is paella. It's a very famous Spanish dish. So this is the house of the friends I was staying with. And I hate seafood. But they insisted because it's like their favorite dish for having company. And they had invited a couple of other friends over as well. And so I was gracious and ate some of it. I think I just like ate the rice part. I didn't eat any mussels or shrimp or anything. Yeah, that's my bag and my computer. So isn't this nice for the airport lounge to have like, there weren't like, not every seat was like that, but and I don't remember. I think, did I fly out of De Gaulle airport or the other, there's another airport. I think I might have flown not out of De Gaulle, but the other international airport, and flew to Nice. And here I am at Cannes. So see, it's the international college. And so a friend, because, hotel rooms in Cannes during the Cannes Film Festival are expensive and hard to find. And so this is actually, so they have dorm rooms at this, it's like an exchange college. So French people go to other countries, and people from other countries that want to learn French come here. And I think I got a dorm room for $75 a night, which normally rooms are like in the hundreds, right? And not only that, but they had like a little cafeteria with food that was cheap. So, and so this is a balcony with the nice shutters and windows. So this is Cannes. There's my crepe jambon fromage. They were all over Paris for like €3, right? $3, right? And I kept saying, my friends were like, well, what do you want to eat? I want the crepe jambon from, oh, you can get that anytime. We have to go someplace else. They kept making me eat other things. And I never got to have my crepe jambon fromage. And so this was like my last day in Cannes. And it was like, I had to pay €15 or something instead of €3 to have my crepe jambon fromage. And so they don't wrap it like a burrito. They fold it into a square. Oh yeah, it was yum. The coffee was great. So there is a French crepe jambon fromage. It's not only like a cheese sauce. I think it's also like the bechamel sauce, which is cheesy anyway. Cheesy, like cheesy as in cheese. And so the palm tree, the hotel, just this kind of an iconic Cannes picture. And there's Cannes with love it that it's like Marilyn Monroe's picture that was part of it. And this was like the red carpet area. So whenever they had a red carpet event, this is where it would be laid out, and all the security and everything. And this is, I'm just walked out on a pier or something to look back. In fact, all those tents are more exhibits. It's like the international exhibits. And I think Cambodia had one of the tents. The Cambodia Film Commission had a tent there to promote Cambodia. So like all the film commissions were promoting their countries for film locations and stuff there. And this is at one of the parties. So I just took a picture to show that, yes, I was at parties at Cannes. Interesting door. So this is now from Cannes. I took the bus back to Nice and I flew to Dublin. And again, so this was not a couch surfer that I had met, but I went on couch surfing at, .com, whatever, and which I was a member of, and I'd hosted so many people. And this was like the first time that I stayed using like logging in and making a reservation through couch surfing. And so this boy's father was a chef, and he opened up his house for couch surfing, and so I was able, and he was like very sought after so it was very almost prestigious to be able to get there, to be able to stay there at his house. And so he had to go do some catering in some event. And like, I just met him the day before, right? I arrived the day before, and here's his son. And of course I am not some kind of serial killer, but he trusted his son to take a bus to, in fact, I might have even had to like get on the bus by myself and then meet his son at a designated spot and then go together up into the Wicklow Mountains, um, where then he would meet us. And so this pub up in the Wicklow Mountains had the Sunday roast. So we went in and had the Sunday. I had the Sunday roast. There you go. There's my picture of the Sunday roast in an Irish pub. Again, I'm sorry. I apologize for that strip of little pictures, down at the bottom. You can't see the carrots, but yeah, that was good. That was good. I'm so trusting. Well, and they're so trusting too. Oh, there you can see a little bit more. You had mashed potatoes, roasted potatoes, and boiled potatoes. Along with peas and carrots and turnips and cauliflower and the beef with the gravy, but there was no Yorkshire pudding. But I'll get to that. This was everywhere, and it's called gorse. In America, I don't know if it's the same plant, but it's very similar. We call broom bush, but this is called gorse, and it smelled beautiful, and it was everywhere, and it's it's very thorny. Yum taters. Yeah, I love taters. So this is like the best picture that I got of gorse. I also got a picture of gorse in Scotland. But okay, so this is the Wicklow Mountains. This is now, they talk about like getting peat out of the bogs, right? And then using peat for their fireplaces for fires. But this is where they got peat. So I don't know that this is actually a bog, but yeah. And these are the Wicklow Mountains, and apparently they turn purple with heather at the right time of year, but I wasn't there at that time of year. And a lake. I think that the Guinness house was, well, I know we passed the Guinness house. I'm saying maybe this picture was like close to, like, this property is owned by Guinness, the Guinness family. Oh, this might be okay. I know, being at lake level, I believe this is a lake that he said that the movie Excalibur was used, that like the sword is in the water and a hand comes up out of the water, like with the sword Excalibur, and that was filmed here, I believe. And so there's me there at that lake. You can see the water driplets in the water. It was starting to rain, and that's apparently there's a waterfall in the background, but we didn't go over there. Oh, interesting. Some 30 seconds of video. Again, I don't hear any sound with these videos. Whatever. Look at all that gorse. That's nice. Oh no, I see a hand. Yes. And it was cold. It was cold. Oh, so there's the guy that was the father, he's a chef and a very popular couch surfer at the time. So this was just in that same area. And apparently this was like a fortress for monks. So if some kind of raiding party was coming through, they would have ladders that they would climb up, and then they would pull the ladder in so that they would be safe inside. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And this is in Dublin. And so these are statues about the potato famine and the people that left. So it memorializes all the people that died during the potato famine, which of course we know was not due to like weather it was because they grew potatoes, but the English took British English, whatever, Cromwell and all that, took the potatoes for England and left the Irish to starve. Um, and they and of course then they when they would get on a boat to sail to America to try and start a new life, they were known as coffin ships because so many people died of disease and starvation. They just couldn't make it. Which means those of our ancestors that did make it are pretty hardy stock. I think this is in Scotland now, more gorse, but it it might be taken from the bus between Dublin and Belfast. It could still be Ireland. And believe me, all the things about how green Ireland is, Mom, you know it. You saw it for yourself. It's so true. The green is greener than any other green. Well, skip now to Wales. And this is a Welsh rarebit, which my mother-in-law used to, in fun, as you know, from the time she was a child, call it a rabbit instead of a rarebit. But this is a Welsh rarebit in Wales. I always try to eat the food, and ever since my mother-in-law made them for me. Of course, Yorkshire puddings was like the most amazing thing, but I loved it. It's just a piece of bread, a piece of toast with tomato and cheese and maybe mayonnaise. And you slop a tomato, put the cheese, broil it. Bob's your uncle, as she would say. Yep, Mom agrees. You hear that and you think, oh, that's, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's so green, and it is. It really is. And here's my Yorkshire puddings, and I am so excited. Notice the hot dogs with it. It was, hey, Michael, hey. It was a fun trip, and this was my first time to Europe. And so my mother-in-law was adamant that, number one, Yorkshire puddings be made from scratch according to her recipe, very particular, this step, this step, this step. And then and I was like, I love them so much. I was like, well, why do we only have them with like a beef roast? There's gravy, right? If As long as you have gravy with chicken, you have gravy with pork, you have gravy with turkey, why don't we just make Yorkshire pudding? Oh, no, 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 no. It would be like a mortal sin to make Yorkshire puddings with anything other than a beef roast. I'm like, oh, okay, I get there. So the last thing for me to have in England was my Yorkshire puddings. And I hadn't had them yet. I did have fish and chips. I don't have a picture of that, but there was like right across the street from the Baker Street thing. And so I'm actually at her niece's house, and who's my age. Her niece is my age. So like her niece would be like my cousin, and her grown kids that are like around 20ish. And she had a girl and a boy. And they're like, because it's and I was on my way. I went from London Central, took a train on my way to the airport that I was going to be leaving from, which begins with an S. I just want to say Sainsbury's, but that's like the grocery store they have there. And so I was on my way, and where they lived was like on the way. So they told me, okay, when you get to this station, get off. And then they picked me up and took me to their house. And then they took me back to the station to go on to catch my flight. So, I mean, it was like the very, very last chance that I had. So it was lunchtime. And, well, what would you like to have for lunch? And I'm like, the only thing I haven't had is Yorkshire puddings. And, I know there's no time for a roast or anything like that. She goes, well, we could always pop down and get some Aunt Bessie's. I think Bessie or Betty. Aunt Betty, Aunt Bessie, whatever. And I'm like, Well, what are those? She goes, oh, they're frozen. I'm like, well, so breaking rule number one on how to make them, right? I'm like, well, do you eat them? Oh yeah, sure, we eat them all the time. I'm like, well, then it's authentic if you eat them. You're you're from England. You eat them. It's authentic in my book, right? And and she goes, well, yeah, well, I can just fry up some hot dogs with it. Just like, so I got my Yorkshire puddings in London, and they were with hot dogs, and they were frozen. Oh my goodness. Oh, just another depth of field, nice paint chips there, fire hydrant, probably London. Oh, that's the last one in this batch. Okay. So mom wants the pictures with her. So that's that. Okay, no, that's not it. I have to look and see, like 2007 travels, maybe. No, that's 2006. It wasn't in 2005. 2007 Miriam. Well, there's a bunch of pictures of me. Here's pictures of, oh, there's only two, there's only 3 fire hydrants in there by others. No. Sundance pictures. Where is this? Photos 2023. Could I have dropped them in there? No. And then my Oppo phone. That's the one I have now. I don't know, Mom. Maybe I didn't copy it over. iTunes genealogy. Favorite photos. That's where I just was. Route 66. September disasters. Merry Christmas 2006. And then these slideshows. There's Cambodia and Bangkok. This is the one we went through last time. Film count, food, funeral, going away, my life, postcards. It's all Cambodia. So Mom, maybe one thing that I could do is, there's probably a lot of the pictures on Facebook. I could look at my Facebook page. How we doing on comments? 2017 is when we went. Or you know what I could do? I could run downstairs really quick and get the book and then just show the pages. Or we could, you know what? Why don't we save that one for next week? Next week we'll do the heritage tour through Europe that was with my mom, because there's a lot of good pictures. And I'll hook up the whatchamacallit, my backup drive. I'll hook that up and I'll make sure that I copy that. So do we want to do we want to look at one of these other albums, or do you guys want to talk about something different? No, that isn't necessary. Yeah. I should put that comment. It looks like a fun trip. Should we look at some different pictures? Because what did I have up there? Louisiana. And we saw a lot of those last time. I can show this one. Okay, we'll go like that. That down. Okay, so this was my first trip to Southeast Asia, during which I fell in love with Cambodia. First up is Bangkok. This is Arun, the Arun temple, and Arun means dawn, which is actually part of my Cambodian name, Arun Raksmai, which means the sunshine, the morning sunshine. And this one, that's part of the same temple. You can see how there's all these like little pieces, like mosaic. The whole thing is made out of like mosaic. And then people had put flowers like on the heads. It was a very beautiful temple. And then this is like the nightlife with all the street food and all that. And this is the Bed Supper Club, which, because I was there during the Bangkok International Film Festival, there was like an after party there. This is what the inside is like. It's pretty cool. All the cars are lots of pretty colors. They have 7-Elevens are everywhere. And then they have the rail system. There's the dogs. As I mentioned, there's no dog poop anywhere. There's street dogs everywhere, and there's no dog poop anywhere. Was my biggest takeaway. And a grave. Let's see. Okay. I skipped by. Well, I shouldn't. Maybe someone might not have seen the last one. But this would be called a stupa, where you put the bones of your family. It's a Chinese tradition that you have water at the entrance of your house or whatever. And so here in front, at the entrance of the stupa, they've got a little pond so that there's water. And then, okay, so this is the entrance to the floating market, which looks like this. Then it's kind of like this. So people come in on their boats to sell. But this water, it's canal. So there's these canals all over Thailand, all over Bangkok, and there's people swimming in them. Like there's a whole table set. Oh well, I think she's selling meat or something. It's set there. We saw this picture last time. So this lady's selling some fruit and bananas. She doesn't look so happy. She looks tired. But everybody's selling their things from the boat. So that's why it's the floating market. And this guy gave me his hat, and I still have this hat. And I wrote down on the inside like that this was the hat from Thailand. So what I need to do is I need to take this picture and frame it, like put it in like a frame thing with this hat, which is absolutely falling apart. And people have tried to throw it away so many times. And I'm like, no, you cannot. When I die, you can throw it away. But until I die, this is one of my memories, you know. And this lady's probably on her way to the floating market, just on one of the canals. And these are people's houses on the canals. And so Cambodia also has these spirit houses, so for you to like remember your ancestors, and you put incense and offerings and on the little spirit house. See, there's people like swimming in this water. And then these are the royal barges. You could see there's a cannon sticking out here. This is out of the water, but it's like in this is like a museum of the royal barges. And that's like on top of, like, instead of having a lady in front of your ship, you have They have the Hanneman. There's another one. You can see the cannon there. Very elaborate. And then this is a Naga. We have that in Cambodia as well. And this is where a lot of the Bangkok International Film Festival was held, at the Siam Paragon. It's a big shopping mall, but they have like a huge cinema, and they had so many different kinds of flavors of popcorn, but no like popcorn butter, like the nice liquid butter. That mom, oh my gosh, if it's not too late, find me some of that. Not the powdered butter, the oil, the oil. It's on. I mean, you could even order it for next day delivery from Amazon. It's on Amazon. Popcorn butter. I need some popcorn butter. Yeah. Because even on my trips back to the US, I don't think we went and saw a movie. So it's probably been 16 years since I've had popcorn butter. Yeah. Mom's getting ready to send me a care package. That's why I'm mentioning it. All right. There's me. I bought this dress in Bangkok. I still have this dress. I don't know that it would fit me at the moment or not. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm any heavier right now than I was then. So it probably would still fit me. And just some friends that I met there. We're doing fun things again. Look at the dessert. The chocolate made like film strips and stuff like this. Just amazing. And the ice cream was served in a block of ice. I know it's a blurry picture. That's all I had. But I include it because when have you ever seen ice cream served in a block of ice? You have no desire to go to Bangkok. Yeah, you don't need to, Mom. That's okay. Just come see me. Pretty dress. Thank you. So now on to the island of Koh Chang. Well, this was the ferry that we had. So you see the pickup truck. You have a pickup truck with these seats in the back. That's the normal transportation in the back country, right? And then this is like the ferry that we're gonna get on, this whole ferry. Yeah, yum. The ice cream was good. And this is a view. Look at the water's not level. That's bad. I should like fix these pictures. But it was very tropical. And of course the sign is in Thai. I have no idea what it says, but and then they called it. So this was my friend Jackie from LA, who also came for the festival. But I knew her. She's like from Brazil. I met her in Los Angeles. She's a real samba dancer, like someone who dresses up in samba costume and does the samba dancing. Amazing. And but she was also, you know, minor actress. And so this is how they sell gasoline. And they put it in old whiskey bottles, so they call it whiskey gas. And we got the scooter, and so she drove me around on the scooter, and then I tried it once and it was just like, no, you do it. Now I'm all the see, there I am on the scooter, and this is where we stayed. O2 sunset again. That horizon is crooked. I know better. So now Koh Chang, Cambodia. And this was the room that I had. I love the blue sink and the blue toilet. But you can see there's not, I mean, there's a bed and the four walls. I mean, there's like no space. Traveling in Cambodia. Oh, there's the ferry that I was telling you guys about. The one, I mean, that's not the cross. Okay, this is a river crossing that is not the one where we almost sunk. But you can see how these planks, these wooden planks, are over the boats. The same kind of fishing boat that's on the right-hand side. But they got like 3 or 4 of them, and then they got a little outboard motor. Interesting travels, yeah. Oh, that scared the cats when I did that. So there, this is a bigger ferry because it's actually got like a barge underneath it and not those little fishing boats. Remember, there were 4 river crossings, and this is just, I'm just taking a picture of life on the river in Cambodia. I thought that was interesting. That's one of my favorite pictures. So WC is for water closet. So that a lot of, because the British called it water closet, a water closet for the, like your toilet, an outhouse. It's an outhouse. I didn't get to eat there, but I thought that just made a nice picture. River Gypsy snack bar, schnitzel. Must be a German egg. So here's the ferry though that started to sink, because there was not like there was the driver, but there was no people. It was all packed full of stuff that he was transporting. So it was really heavy, and we would have been fine if he hadn't gotten on there. So it was kind of scary. You can see how far the river was. I mean, this is like almost to the other side. I don't think we're to the other side yet. And then everybody, I mean, it was so heavy it couldn't even get up the bank of the river. And they had to put a block there so it wouldn't roll down and help push it, and it's going trying to make it up the hill. Stupid. So OK Guest House is where I stayed in Phnom Penh. Became my home away from home. That is called the Central Market, or in Khmer they call it Psar Thmai, which means new market. And that is Art Deco, like built in the 1920s by the French. So it's real Art Deco. And this is the inside of a local market. You've got the meat and the vegetables and everything. I guess the term for this, I'd never heard it until I moved here. It's called a wet market, because there's like blood and everything, and they got to hose it down the drains. So it's a wet market. And this guy was like being my little tour guide, taking me around. And this was a shopping mall. This is Soria Shopping Mall. It had the first escalators in Cambodia. And when I was there in 2006, people were still going as families just to ride the escalators. And you'd have a little old lady that's standing there at the bottom, and they have people that help you get on the escalator, because they didn't know how to get on the escalators. And they were afraid of them. So you had assistants like ushers, attendants that would help people get on so they could go for their ride up the escalator. This is more in the countryside. Dirt roads, not paved roads. School. These are school children. Students wear uniforms. And then they put these things up so that like big trucks can't pass under them unless they stop and pay a toll or something. And then I think they have like a chain they can make it go up to let them pass, and then they bring it back down again. And this is called Wat Phnom. So Phnom Penh is named kind of after Wat Phnom. Phnom means hill, and Pen is for Lady Pen, who the story goes, this is right next to the river, and one day she went down to the river and a log floated by, and inside the log were 4 golden Buddha statues. And so she took the statues and she got all the people together to build this hill. So this was a man-made hill. And then they built the stupa and put like a pagoda up there to put these 4 golden Buddhas in. And so actually Ye Pen Yay is grandmother. Pen was just her name. So grandmother Pen or Yay Pen built a hill, which is a Phnom. So Phnom Penh, that's where the name comes from. And this is the pagoda at the top with the stupa. That's a really big stupa for like bones. I'm not sure whose bones are in there. There's just a weird angle kind of thing. There were monkeys, like there instead of squirrels, there were monkeys. There's another picture of a monkey. And the monkeys are called macaque. Maybe you guys knew that. I always thought they were macaw for some reason. I thought the QUE was silent on the end. And then so I had to like, how do you pronounce MACAQUE? And sure enough, it's macaque. And there's Sambo the elephant. So she would give rides. I love Sambo. I kind of became an advocate for Sambo. But now Sambo lives in Mondulkiri, which is a mountain region in Cambodia, in like an elephant sanctuary. So that's the short story. And this is just a French colonial mansion that's all like in disrepair, but it's just beautiful. It's near the Royal Palace, near where I used to live. There's a larger picture of it. So funny. This guy is just standing there. He's not relieving himself, but he kind of looks like he'd be relieving himself. There were a couple of like rave parties and different things like that have been held there over the years. This is a building kind of next to it, but also the French colonial. And, I'm not sure if it's someone's house or if this one is the UNESCO office. It might be, because that's also right there. This is not the Royal Palace. This is the museum, the National Museum. And the architecture itself is amazing, as well as all the artifacts that they have inside. Thank you for saying it's interesting, Michael. And just a close up. One of the statues inside. This is the White Building, which has now been torn down. But when it was first built in the 60s, it was like to provide housing for the artists, whether they were dance or sculptors or painters, but the art community like lived in these apartment buildings. It was like a big apartment building. But since, after the Khmer Rouge and most of the artists were killed, people that came back into Phnom Penh moved into them. And you can see here all the like new brick, they just start adding, dividing and adding and building up and building out and building in. And it really did. I have to say, it looked very hazardous. I was at my friend Sra took me inside there once to say hello to some friends of his. And so I've actually been in there, and it was scary to go in there. And because it looks like really bad projects, right? What we would call projects, like where you'd have drug dealers and all this kind of stuff. But most of the people living there were actually good people. And for them, they remembered how, and it was painted white. I've seen pictures in the 60s of it, and it was amazing, but it's not amazing anymore, or it wasn't. And now it's finally got torn down. And there was like a lot of, controversy about that because people wanted to, they felt they weren't getting compensated enough, but whatever. And then here's like some nice little carnival that used to be along the river. Look, it's like rocking horses just up on string, on a frame. It's just like toys. I love it. And this one, like a little toy ATV that they've put on a brace, And this was very popular. It's still out in the countryside. You'll find places like this where they have hammocks for you to sit in, and then the mat and for your food. And so it's like a restaurant, but it's kind of like a picnic. And then this, karaoke is huge. Everybody likes to do karaoke. And so there's me doing karaoke. Because karaoke, they don't ever do karaoke Well, rarely. My mom actually came to visit once when uh, there was a bar that had a Filipino band that would do karaoke as well, and on one of the nights um every week, the instead of the whole Filipino band, one of the one Filipino lady wanted to like make extra money, or at least get maybe they didn't give her cash, but they gave her a meal. I don't know, whatever. And so I would go and lead the karaoke. So there was, I mean, rarely you have like a karaoke night at a bar. Um, this is the way everybody does karaoke in private rooms. And they set up, this is like totally normal. They will set up, they will be poor people living on with dirt floors, and they will have a stereo system that they blast music and drink beer and have their party and dance. And of course, all those aren't orbs. Those are it's just dust or something in the air that the flash is bouncing off of. They didn't ever want to dance without a table in the middle. I tried to get students at school to like do dancing once in our class, and we had to like move all the other chairs around away and then put one in the middle to make it like the thing that you dance around, because you always go around when you dance. And then this is a restaurant that's a barbecue. They have you have your fire, they bring you meat, vegetables, and you barbecue them yourself right there at the table. And then that bucket is ice, and you can see like there's a jug of beer, and so you put ice in your beer to make it cold. That's the way it's done. This is Sra, my brother Sra. I think this is his brother-in-law, if I recognize correctly. And then this was a guy that was running an orphanage that I had gotten introduced to. And so, yeah, this is like the table yeah. This is the cinema department. Um, so, working with film, this was like my first stop to introduce myself and get to know people that work with film with the government. And this little kitty, so sad, little kitty. If I recall, this was at a pagoda, and Sra was showing me this area that in the movie City of Ghosts, they used this shed or whatever it is as to pretend that it was his family's home. So like when at the end of the movie, Sra has money and bags of money and brings it home. Well, actually, he gives it to the pagoda, and then he goes home to meet his wife and kids. And this was the location, the movie location for that. Oh, and this is another movie location where Matt Dillon enters the pagoda here, and or Sra comes in. It's a movie location from City of Ghosts. This is another movie location. This is where they had like for the exterior of the brothel. I don't know that they've filmed the interior of the brothel in the same place. I don't think so. But this is where they filmed the exterior of the brothel, where Matt Dillon ends up getting beat up. And this is also the film location that was in the movie. The Hotel Belleville is this location. Across the street from it, this was his room, Matt Dillon's room in the movie. This balcony right here. Yep. Food in Cambodia. So in addition to barbecues, they do soup at the table and they call it hot pot. So they bring you the broth, and they bring you all the, there's noodles, there's raw egg, there's meat, there's vegetables. There's like pork rinds or something. Or no, it's tofu. That's what it is. It's like dried tofu. And you put what you want into the hot pot, and then they count up all the plates at the end, and then that's how they know to how much money to charge you. So you cook your own soup at the table. And then these are like rice wrapped up in banana leaves. And sometimes it's rice with bananas, or rice with beans, or rice with bean curds, or jackfruit, but it's all rice with something in it. And so, yeah, they're cooking it over fire. This is sticky rice. That's what they call it. So when you open up the banana leaf, it looks like this. And it's sweet. They've usually added some coconut cream with it. These are frogs. I did not eat barbecued frogs, but Cambodians like them. They're all over the place. And then this is like a wedding or a funeral or whatever. And so you think of food handling and sanitation and everything, but they know what they're doing. They've done it this way for centuries and thousands of years. And so they've got banana leaves that they've put the raw meat on, and then he's got his cleaver here, and he's cutting up whatever pieces, and there's like a pig's head and pig's foot and everything here. And they've got these big pots. I guess we'll call them a pot, but metal, that they cook these. When you've got some. Look at all these chickens or duck. Oh, there's some duck in there. There's duck. That's duck in this pot. And so yeah, you're cooking for a wedding. 100 people. They set up this, and look, they've got the fire, and the wood is just. They're pushing it in as it burns. They just keep pushing this log in. And they have their cooking stick. And here she's pounding herbs. So this is basically a mortar and pestle, right? So she's got a rock it's got a dip in it, and then she's got this big stick. So there's like more leverage with it to pound. And sometimes you'll have two people with a stick. So pound, 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 the plastic chairs, that's like so typical. So see, when she's done pounding it, it looks like this. I think that's like either turmeric or galangal. And this is how they make the sugarcane juice. They put the sugarcane through this press, and they turn the wheel by hand. Now, some places they'll have it set up with electric so that it will turn with using electricity. But out in the countryside, you don't have electricity a lot of the time. So they still have these wheels that you have to pull to get all the juice out. And this is how it's served. This is my brother Sra. He's wearing a Bangkok International Film Festival t-shirt, which I gave him as a gift. And so after it's all squeezed out, they put it in a plastic bag and stick a straw in there. And that's how you drink your sugarcane juice. Ancient temples. So this is actually just south of Phnom Penh. This isn't Angkor Wat. It's Phnom Chiso, which was also a location for the film City of Ghosts. I think, when I was showing you some pictures I said because of the pink, I thought that this was Bante Sray, but it's not. It's Phnom Chiso, because it's the only temple, ancient temple that I went to in 2006. All this is on the top. And this is laterite. The stone is laterite, which is kind of like pumice, but hard. It's grainy, but whatever. straw. This is how high up we were. See the steps? I think that's on the backside, but that is 402 steps if I recall. And these kids were halfway up. There's me. And literally my face is red. I mean, because I was so exhausted. There I am. I had to give me some sugarcane juice. And there's a Buddha that was at the top. I look a lot younger there. I'm like 40 years old there. Maybe 39. There's the steps that we went up. Countryside Live. This is one of my favorite pictures. This is Sra's wife. She's also wearing a Bangkok International Film Festival t-shirt that I must have gave her. And she's bringing a cow in at sunset. And I just love this picture. This is his house. This is Sra's house. This is, outside the gate, so you can kind of see there's a barbed wire fence. There's actually on the side, you don't see it here, but like one of those old hand pump water, hand pumps for water. Because there's no running water and no electricity. You see a TV antenna here. They run the TV and a light bulb and a radio off of a car battery. They know how to do that here. This is just another angle of so you see the house, and in the back is the kitchen and the toilet area. That's Sra and his family at the time. Now they're all grown, and Sra passed away. This is inside. You see, I had to get a picture of the car battery hooked up to the TV. There's me after I've had a shower. Sitting there. Oh, there's the hand pump well. Getting ready to do laundry. And they also catch the rainwater in these cisterns. Bye for now. Thanks for, okay, Michael. Thanks for coming. See you next week. And the chickens and the bananas. Those are banana trees. And generally, then if you want to eat a chicken for dinner, you put this basket over it to kind of keep it from running away. And they had this little pond that was not like drinking water, though, and maybe for the cows. But this was a big spring. It's like a lake fed by an underground spring, so it never ran out. And now they've closed it off for people going in there. But so you had these steps that went down, and you could like bathe in there. But people would also bring buckets and get their water out of this pond too. See, here we are all bathing. And so this is one of my favorite pictures too, because this really captures the fact that by this time, I had fallen in love with Cambodia, and I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life here, and you can see it. My mom thought I was crazy. She didn't believe me. This is what a kitchen looks like in the countryside. So they've got their wood, burning here for their pots and preparing stuff, just squatting on the floor. Little baskets to keep your dishes in. You have a piece of wood that is your chopping block. And this is what a toilet is like. If there's if there's a toilet, it's like this. Okay, I have normal toilets, and they're in Phnom Penh City, there's plenty of normal toilets. But out in the countryside, if there's a toilet, it's like this. And so you put your feet on the sides and squat into the basin. And then you see there's no running water for it. So you've got that little trough and a bucket and like a scoop. And you can see there's a tap above the trough. So if the trough gets low, then you turn the tap on to fill the trough. And then you use the bucket to flush down whatever down the toilet into a septic tank or whatever. And this is why people that come to America, you have to have a sign or something that says don't squat on the toilet. And you think, why would anybody ever think of that? Because of this. And this is just Sra playing his guitar. You can see they have a water filter system here, so they can take that rainwater or that lake water and put it through the filtration system and have clean water. They had puppies. They give leftovers to the puppies and the chickens. Little puppy. And then this is just a big version of, like a mortar and pestle. So you could put rice or whatever here, and then you actually stand on it like a seesaw, and then rock it. You just have to rock it like standing in the middle of a seesaw. And who needs fancy red flyer wagons or anything like that? They got a palm branch. So the bigger kids put the little kids on a palm branch and pull them around. It was so cute. See, look at the smile on them. And then this is, neighbors coming. This guy was drunk. This guy was like the town drunk. But that's kind of how you dance. They'll dance like this, and all the kids. So see, notice all the kids are standing there staring at me with the camera, right? They'd come up, they'd touch my skin, and little old lady, little grandmas, they'd come up, touch my skin, touch my nose. Sometimes the kids they push each other like, you go touch her, It was fun. This is Sra's mother-in-law. That's a coconut. She's using this big machete to cut open a coconut. Oh, this was nice. So this is Sra and his wife and two of his kids. You remember he's got 3, but she gathered some cashew nuts, raw cashew nuts, but in the shell. And she just put twigs and little sticks and branch, made a fire with them in the middle of the fire. And when the fire was done, the cashews were roasted, and she's got a little hammer to crack open the cashews so we could eat the roasted cashew nuts. How fresh is that? It's cool. Cow. This is a typical cow in Cambodia. We would call them Brahma cows, right? That's a healthy looking. I mean, it looks bony, but actually that's pretty healthy looking. And so we went out for an ox cart ride. And this is palm juice. So what they do is they put this bamboo container up in the tree where there's different kinds of palms. And so one of the palms has these flowers that will drip nectar. So they'll put this bamboo up under it so that as the flower drips the nectar, it collects. And then that's the palm juice. Not bad. And then if you want like palm wine, you put herbs like wood chips and different herbs and spices, whatever, in the bamboo before you hang it up. And so as it fills up, it's like fermenting, and it's really kind of sour. It's not even without the turning to wine, it's still kind of sour tasting. It's not sweet like the sugarcane juice. This is Phnom Dombrairo meal, the Rolling Elephant Mountains. And so we went on our ox cart ride from Sra's house to these mountains. And then we actually walked up a little bit on them to a pagoda. But so this is just the landscape. There's Sra and his cows. There's a water buffalo. It's like piercing, people get their nose pierced all the time, right? But so they'll like pierce the nose and then put the put the rope through the nose. That's like the normal thing, you know. Ugh. And there's a baby. This is a lake known as Tonle Bati. So you have these little picnic um, huts over the water that so people come and have picnics. Occupations: sewing, being a tailor. That's making what the sarong skirt. This guy's fixing shoes. The gas station, rural gas. If it's not whiskey gas, right? Which you even have in Phnom Penh for people that run out of gas in between gas stations. They can get the bottle and put it in until they, get them to the gas station. But yeah, they got to turn the crank to get the gas out of the barrel into this top, and then it just gravity will go, feed it, which is basically the old fashioned gas station, like on Route 66 and, Mayberry and stuff. The gas stations were like the same thing. Here watching, but you have the baby now. Oh, okay, good. I think it's probably got to be done soon. Ciclo driver. This is a phone booth. So this lady, 012, 011, 016, 092, those are the phone exchanges for different companies. And so the thing is, first of all, with mobile, you don't get charged for answering a phone. If someone calls you, there's no charge to you. It's only on the person making the call. Now, if I have say you have AT&T and your friend has Sprint, then that's a higher charge than if you call AT&T to AT&T or Sprint to Sprint. So, and that's why you've got like 300 real, 400 real are the prices to use her phone to call those, numbers that start with that exchange. So she just sets up a little booth and she's got her cell phone. And if you need to make a phone call, you just pay her the money and she lets you use her phone. What a great business, right? Now, I thought this was interesting. This is ice. There's a chunk of ice. So there's this big saw, there's a hatchet and stuff. And yet there's no safety precautions. There's nothing about, kids don't hurt themselves because they know not to touch things. And this guy is selling charcoal and he's got a coconut. And there's a scale so that they can weigh how much charcoal you want. And here's somebody selling rice out of their house. Those big sacks are rice. And here's someone getting ready to, so he's taking the sugarcane stalks that are like cut in the field, and he's getting the most of the skin off and making a point so that it's easy to feed into that press to make the sugarcane juice. So then the sugarcane juice seller, so this guy's a middleman, right? So you got the farmer who brought in all these stalks. And then this guy is preparing them for the sugarcane sellers who are going to come and buy the ready sugarcane from him. This is a print shop. So she just has a little kiosk. She's got all these samples of like wedding invitations and things. And if you want business cards or you want invitations printed, you come to this lady, you write down on a piece of paper what you want, and you pick your example, and then she will take that information to the print shop, the real print shop, get them printed, bring them back to her little place, and you can pick them up. So every neighborhood has little print shops like this that provide that service for you. Then you have people walking around selling sunglasses and different little souvenirs, books and things up and down. Mostly this is just on the riverside where there was a lot of tourists. Weddings. This is a wedding in the front of, so on your property, they come set up the whole tent thing like this around your house. And they bring the tables with the tablecloths and all the plastic chairs, and they the cooking that I showed you earlier and stuff like this. They set everything up. The sound system, the generator to run it all. And then in the front, you have this little sign that has the names of the bride and the groom. And then they would get these hang bananas and coconuts and paint one silver and one gold, one side silver and one side gold. And you can see kind of this loudspeaker thing here. Everybody in the village knows that there's a wedding going on. So then they have all these like ceremonies and offerings and things. And this is what the bride and groom, now she'll change clothes like 12 times for all these different, like every hour there's a different part of the ceremony. She's got to change into something different. And then there's this little part where they cut the hair, and somebody of honor or several people of honor will take turns cutting. Well, this is the, he's not a priest. Sometimes they call it Achai in Khmer, but he's the officiator of the wedding. And then you have some monks come in for part of it, and then they leave. But this guy like runs all the different parts of the ceremony. And so he's actually cutting a little snippet of their hair. And then they put it like in a little box to keep or whatever, right? And then other people of honor will come up and take the scissors and take some perfume, and they'll snip and spray. And then the next one will come up and snip and spray, but they're not actually cutting the hair. They're just pretending to snip the hair. And then you have a part where everybody comes and gives them money. Look, she thinks not think, but she has such honor for this t-shirt that I gave them that she's wearing this t-shirt to the wedding. You know what I mean? And with the same bride and groom, different outfit. And then I partook in part of the ceremony too. And, you're just pretending like you're giving them the gift. And here I am, that's the bride, and she's helping me do the dance. Worship, that's a spirit house. That's on that mountain I showed you earlier with the ox cart ride. These are those cisterns that they collect rainwater. There's this is inside a temple, and Sra's got his. Now there's some interesting things about over the years that I've learned. And you see this pink, all this pink stuff, that's the end of the incense after it's burned down. And there's so many that have been stuck in there that it turns into that bush flower looking thing. So when you light the incense, we light incense and then we blow on it and it gets nice and red, and the snow and the smoke starts going off the incense. You're not allowed to blow out the incense. So they'll light the incense catches into flame, and then you shake it so that you put out the flame by shaking it. And there's 5 too. The number 5 is like a sacred number, the number 5. So there's like 5 sticks of incense, and he's probably got 5 as well that he's going to put in. Alongside the roads, a lot of times you'll have some kind of little shrine like this, and this old man, just the keeper, a watcher over of it, and you've got a lock box. You put the money in the end of the night. Again, you have the stubs of the incense, getting bigger and bigger. And you've always got the yellow covering and like a wheel thing, and like, it's all very typical. That might actually be like a, I don't know why there's that monk there. Picture of a monk. Is that, he's just, I don't know. I don't want to get into it. And some Buddha statues. And then this style of painting is very Cambodian. And so they'll tell the story of Buddha and stuff on the top. And there I'm eating some watermelon. This is a funeral. So when you see the black, everything is exactly like the wedding, except there's no gold, the bananas and coconuts. There's just the black here. And then they have a ghost flag cut out of white, like a square, couple of squares and a triangle. And it makes like the head and the body and some rectangles for the legs. And that's a ghost flag. So here we are at the funeral. And everybody's having their soup. And these are stupas that they put the bones in. So each family, now this is more of like a Chinese thing here. And again, it's facing the water. Remember, they want to have water in front. And so this is actually like a burial. These are tombstones for burial, because the Chinese bury instead of cremate. Orphanages, typical little orphanage, kids all playing. They have the school. So what school looks like. That's the kitchen. They're building an extra room. Then all the construction in Cambodia is brick like this. And then whether they cover it with stucco or not, everything's brick. Even the skyscrapers, like they'll have the cement and then you see all the brick filling in. It's scary. This is very interesting how this is like part of an orphanage. See all these planks over here? They're cut by a very skilled woodsman. They cut down a palm tree, they'll cut down one of these palm trees, and they use a chainsaw and they make these boards just cutting right there. I might have a picture of that. But even like the framework of how they make these, instead of thatch, they use palm branches. It's very fascinating. So see, this is what the roof is made of. Well, the roof or the walls can be made like this. So you fold you have this stick and you fold the leaf over it, and then you weave the leaf with, you take some of the leaves that you make into strips for the weaving, all done naturally. So we talk about, being environmental and sustainable and stuff, and this is how they're living. And then we have to tell them to, like, oh no, you got to make bricks and cement and live, and then you need aircon because it's so hot. This way it's not as hot. You have some airflow. I was very impressed. Oh, I think I'm showing him pictures of America. This is their kitchen. This is their bathroom. There's the guy making the planks out of a palm tree. He's just cutting them with a chainsaw. Nothing to guide him, and he's making them perfectly straight. It's amazing. There's some of the wood that he's done, all with a chainsaw. The killing fields. So this is a killing fields. So each one of these impressions is where they dug up bones. And this sign says that this tree was used to hang a microphone, which made a sound, which made loud sounds so that the moaning of the victims while they were being executed wouldn't be heard. And these are some actual bones and some actual clothes that were found in the area. And then this tree, they would actually beat children to death. They would execute the children. And then there's this huge stupa with a lot of the skulls that they've dug up in the area. And they look like that. And that's this every shelf all the way filling up is all full of those skulls. And then the Tool Sling Genocide Museum. This was Tool Slang was the name of a school in the middle of Phnom Penh. It's actually a type of tree, and so then after the Khmer Rouge emptied out the city and sent everybody to the countryside to be slaves, then they took over this school, which was now abandoned and empty because the whole city was empty, and they used it as an interrogation center. So really, it became like an Auschwitz kind of thing, where they brought people that they suspected of being spies or treasonous or whatever for their interrogation, but it was torture. And in fact, in the U.S., when we talk about Abu Ghraib, whatever, down by Cuba, where the CIA was interrogating people about 9/11, the Muslims and everything, and how they were torturing them, and they were waterboarding them. Waterboarding actually they invented it here. And so the CIA had written a report after the Khmer Rouge. They had written a report about the torture, and that's where let's try that one that they used, that the Khmer Rouge used. Let's try that. That's where they got waterboarding. Anyway, they did a lot of bad stuff and a lot of people died. And so now it's turned into a museum so that we don't forget. And every single person that came through, they took a picture of them. They were meticulous in keeping records. And the expressions on these people's faces, they range from defiance to bewilderment to despair. I mean, to defiance. There's just all kinds of faces. And Sra told me, as we were, these are women's pictures, but he told me as he was looking for his father, because the Khmer Rouge took away his father. His father was a doctor, and they took away doctors to kill. And he was hoping that maybe he'd see a picture of his father. And there's some pictures of some of the bodies, the tortured bodies. So they left so fast. So when Hun Sen and the Vietnamese, he went to Vietnam, got some troops to come help get rid of, to fight the Khmer Rouge. When they entered Phnom Penh, the Khmer Rouge fled. And when they fled, they left these bodies in situ. And so they were documented, and, and then they turned it into a museum. This was a schoolroom, but they blocked up cells, and then they would give them like these ammo boxes for toilets. And these are machete marks that happened in this tree bears witness to the torture that had happened. Portraits. So these are just people. This is she makes snow cones, by the way. So this thing shaves the ice, and she's got some condensed milk here. So she shaved the ice and add some condensed milk, and you have a snow cone. Just a kid, another kid sleeping. This is your typical expat, your male sexpat type of expat. Beer, cigarette, sitting there on the riverside. I said, okay, I want to take this picture, but I'm not going to take your face. I mean, it was someone I was friends with. So not that I'm friends with sexpats. I'm just saying that that's typical, that look is typical. This is at Sra's house, all the kids in the village. To see, they've learned to like me now. You'll never forget that. Yes, about the Tool Slang. And it's something that is really important to understand, that anybody my age and older lived through that. And when you see people smiling and happy and raising families, and it's, you know, it's so much more because of, you know, what they lived through, and they can still smile, you know, I mean, and they can still have love, and they can still dance, and it just puts a different perspective, you know, on it. This kid's cute, and that's a older woman. And then, oh, this is Thra's little boy. Look at that. Look at that look. Oh, he's got mischief in his eyes. This little girl's so sweet. Monk. These are the musicians at the wedding. Oh, there's me with the little old ladies. They're not smiling right now, but if they did, their teeth would be all like a maroon, blood red color because they chew on the betel nut and it turns their teeth red. There might be a picture of someone like that. This is the guy that was trying to build the orphanage, that was starting the orphanage. I wonder whatever happened to him. Some little kid. Little kids. These are the, I remember these two are from his parents run the OK guest house that I was staying at. A nice monk. Oh, these girls came around selling these little pancakes with honey on them. Oh my goodness, just when I was like getting so hungry and needing a snack, and it was in between meals, and they'd come walk around. Oh my goodness, I love buying their pancakes. Security guard. This little kid. Oh, this was like when we were waiting for the ferry. Little kids. This was that shoe repairman guy. I think he looks handsome. That's Thra's wife and her mother. Thra's kids and their little puppy. Thra, his wife, his sister, her husband, and her daughter. And she's like a famous singer, like wedding, like she's a wedding singer, but that's like a very prestigious type of singing. And this is Thra's friend Sebastian, who was his acting coach during City of Ghosts. And that's Snowy, Mom. Remember Snowy? He passed away now. But I love the bells and the dark blue. He had a bar. So he's in the movie City of Ghosts. If you watch it, there's Matt Dillon goes into this brothel looking, he's trying to find his partner, and he got a message to go to this place. And so he goes there, but really the message was just to get him beat up. And so Snowy was an extra, you know, playing, and he plays the part of a guy that's there for the girls, you know, and he, like an obnoxious, mistreating people kind of guy, you know, which, yeah, yeah, Snowy was awesome. There's Thra and his son, and this was their cows are, and this is their little barn. I don't know what everybody's eating, but like these neighbors, that like this lady, she just come walk over to stare at me, and like never say a word, never say hello. Like you come to somebody's house, no introduction, no like hi, how you doing? Not a word. She just come and stare at me. And then when she was tired, she'd just leave. No goodbye. See you later. Nothing. I mean, and it was like, and then it's like I take my cues from my host. My host would just like ignore her. She'd just wander in and then wander off. Nursing baby bottle teeth. Yeah. Some lady. Some old men. This is the funeral, I think. Or the wedding. Oh, no, it's the wedding. Oh, finally, we're done. That's it. So, 2 hours. I'd say that's enough. Yeah. So, Mom, I will find the pictures of our trip. There's actually, I think they were, I mean, I did see some, because there was the London Eye and this and that. Um, so, so I have some, but like all of them were on a different backup drive that I had that James just took and sold once, you know, just took it, and it had, because I felt my main backup drive was getting full. So I bought a second backup drive, and that's all of that was on there. And so I don't have everything. There's so much. Anyway, I'm not going to think about it. Popcorn butter. Popcorn butter. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I need some tea. My mouth is dry. And if you're watching on replay, I hope you enjoyed it as well. Learned something new about Cambodia and Europe. And so yeah, next week we'll do another travel tour. Unless there's something like so interesting and amazing in the news that we need to talk. I hope you guys are okay with your test, your emergency broadcast test with your cell phones. I know a lot of people are freaking out about it. I don't know. I think it's going to be a nothing burger, but I think it's probably really is a test for maybe something in the future. But it's okay. You remember the trip. Yeah, but nobody else has seen it, and it's interesting. So, yeah. But that's the 4th. So today's your 3rd. And so I hope everything goes well with the cell phone test, and I'll be interested to see you guys can tell me what happened to you guys personally, if anything happens with the cell phone test, emergency broadcast system. So, okay. Yeah, I'm going to have a great evening. You guys have a great day. I love you all, and have peace and comfort and health and success. In Jesus' name. Bye.